So, Jesus Christ. The video that I made is it's cutting out. It cut out, so I'm probably gonna just take that L. But I wanted to show you the extremist part of society and how when women have problems, they get babied. When men get problems, they create whole channels for them to talk shit about red pill men. Now, let's show you. Now, we're going to show the comparison on what Alvin Priest talks about a man, and then when he talks about a woman.
Oh my days. I already hate this. Why do I hate this? Is it the tone?
Dilly wants to go to the club, so now I'm going to the club too. I'm only going so I can wingman for him and help him talk to ABGs, he said. ABGs, he said.
ABGs, I think it's like Asian bad girls. Something like that.
Cute couple, Vivi are not dating. I did not claim this.
Yo.
Sorry, that's so mean, but don't claim it.
She's talking about him.
Oh, you bitch.
What?
Oh, you bitch. Oh, you're such a good girl. No, I don't claim this. You f***ed up. This? Okay, you know what? Okay. Maybe she meant this relationship.
I made a donation goal of $500. I will kiss Dilly. So we hit it. But hopefully, I will be drunk for that. Let's take the first shot of the night, yeah? Is it too early?
Nah, you meant this. Oh, you f***ed up. Oh, bitch. You are one f***ed up little bit. You are using this dude. Oh, wow.
He's awkward? You're not awkward. Oh, man. Ew! Yesterday, Dilly got so drunk, he was saying, can I say it on stream?
What is it?
How you have a 6-inch and you last 30 minutes. You're flexing to the whole room. I mean, I also do. I love the kind of drunk I am. I don't shut the fuck up.
No.
But you don't shut the fuck up sober.
Thank you.
So I did a little thing last time where I said for every 10 get this little spank Dilly, I guess that they're a demon now. Thank you for reminding me. Get the bend over to. Come here. Just go like that.
Like this?
Oh, you want to go? Alright, guys, 1 second. Do I use my hand?
I guess so.
Ignore my bony ass legs. I just go like that? Bend over more.
What the fuck is that?
My implant is fucking shaking from how hard my heart is racing right now. Okay, so before we do this, can you please clean yourself up?
Yeah, I'm gonna go clean up.
Make sure there's no snot.
Nope.
Maybe rinse out your mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Well. Okay, see you soon. Fuck. Literally, fuck.
Theat. All this is theat.
Oh, fuck. Oh my god. I'm so
Nobody put a fucking gun in your head, you dumb. And then on top of that, it's your idea. You put it there. You know damn well what the fuck you doing.
This video, and much like the internet, everyone kind of lost it.
I came and visited, and I'm on vacation, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, let's do some streams together, right? So I know how to cook, and I know she's into cooking streams, and then that we would do a drinking stream, right? So
Can this guy have a name? Can this guy have a fucking name?
His name is Dilly.
No, his name is fucking Sup Caitlin's Mob. Can this guy have a fucking name?
Put his name?
At least put we're talking to Dilly, Sup Caitlin's.
No, we're talking to Sub Caitlin's mod.
that's just kind of what happened. I was like, oh, let's make the most out of my trip, because it was super last minute, and she was super accommodating for a last minute idea. So
Now, I think all of that content idea sounds super logical, but did you discuss, you being the subject of all of the jokes? I'm using that word real loosey-goosey here, because in my opinion, it's less jokes and more just deep-cut insults. And I know you're at her house right now, so it might be a little uncomfortable to get serious about it, but
He's at her place while he's doing this.
It could have been anybody.
Couldn't be me.
And my friend could never do that to me. And I could never do that to my friend. This idea that the content creator is somehow super separated from the person. Listen, they may not be identical, but they're very much linked. How I am online is not necessarily a reflection of the totality of who I am, but it is part of me. It's why online I don't engage in behavior that I think would be incredibly unbecoming. To me, that's just a cop-out for responsibility for what the fuck you say and the impact it has on people. And honestly, it really doesn't change much. If my friend is getting online and insulting me in all kinds of ways, even though they say, yo, it's just content, that shit don't sit right with me. Why do you gotta turn our relationship into content? Why are you so desperate for money that you would disparage me to the public like that? That's weird. That reflects on your character. Anybody who treats their friends like that, it reflects on them too. It's one thing to roast each other playfully, whatever, where you're just out here making this person
Insulting them like she did you.
Well, she was also honestly like, I'm not super into that kind of content of political, right? But she appreciated the offer, right? So she will be real and separate herself for a moment and just say this is what happened, yada yada yada, right?
Hey, my dude, you ODing on the coke.
It's like you work for a government right now.
Yep.
You work for the government. The way you dodge these answers and you dodge the questions by not answering what
Yo. Anyways, let me move on from my metaphor. All this to say, this is a prime example of hurt people act like assholes.
Do you see your face when you do that?
Seeing and I understand it. The problem I have is as a straight heterosexual woman who's attracted to straight heterosexual men and would like to experience a romantic heterosexual relationship with a man but has never had the opportunity to do so, it makes it hard to really accomplish that. And on top of that, I am force-fed content on and offline on a daily basis, seeing women who are truly valued and treated well by the men in their lives. And that makes me physically ill some of the time. Like having content shut down my throat of how some women are treated by the men in their lives and how valued they actually are, and knowing that no man in my life has ever actually liked me, like at all, and has never valued me, literally at all. It kind of does something to the psyche and your self-worth and your self-esteem, no matter how much self-confidence you have, you know?
Every time I hear people say stuff like, yeah, fuck them men are trash, all this other stuff, it just makes me think of like that kid in school who was rejected, so then they just start hating on their crush, but they really just liked them the whole time. You know, so they start being mean to their crush. Hey, fuck, she's ugly, but deep down inside,
They want to slob on that knob.
they're kids. What are you talking about? What the fuck, bro? Yo, you been wild today. You just pulling out the gay shit out of nowhere and just slobbing up the knobs of kids. Yo. Anyways, let me move on from my metaphor. All this to say, this is a prime example of hurt people act like assholes.
Do you see your face when you do that?
What?
That's the only.
Yo.
That's the only reason I do that, because when you
Yeah, I'm giving you that just pearly things look. That's that 16-year-olds are hotter than 29-year-olds.
That's a funny,
that look.
I'm just saying that because that's a funny thing to say, and your face does that. And
Okay, careful. Just don't make any tweets.
I'm not gonna make any tweets.
I hope so.
I'm not. It's not serious.
All right.
And my self-confidence and my journey with that has been a journey.
Task Force X. Show me what you got.
You know, and I'm the most confident I've ever been in my life, so I don't really put up or accept men who treat me like dog shit anymore, but then that just leaves me having no interactions with men at all.
all the men you interact with treat you like dog shit, you're probably
not choosing the right.
I mean, you're doing something.
You know what the thing is?
You can't just keep encountering the opposite sex and they're always the same way. Like, what does that really say about men? Then I might as well start taking seriously the guys who meet women. They're like, all the women I meet are gold diggers. It's like, do we take him seriously? No, we would tell him, you're being goofy, you're going after a certain type. If you're constantly meeting dudes who are always treating you badly.
Sometimes I wonder, man, I talk to some people sometimes and they're like, all the people that I attract are doing that. And I'm like, all the people you attract? Yeah, all the people you attract. Is it all the people that you attract or is it all the people that you let in? That's people, you just say it like that and people you attract? No. At some point you entertain them. There's other people that get, and I'm just saying general, I don't know this lady, so I can't know if maybe all the people you attract, but that's kind of weird if all the people you attract are dog shit or treating you like shit. I have a problem with that. Is it all the people you attract or all the people you let in?
Right.
Because there's attracting and then there's selection. There's something that you do. Whenever you say that, when you saying that sentence, it's like if you had nothing to do with it. You were just present, and then this would just happen to you. So there's that.
I don't think people really understand it unless they've been in this exact position themselves. And also the fact that my connection has to come from friends and family. Whereas those friends and family already have partners, and then they get their connection from them. And then I get the leftovers. And that feels really fucking good also. Literally no amount of self-love will replace what a romantic relationship can do for people. That's an inconvenient, sad truth that I feel like no one on this app really wants to accept. They just want to shove self-love down your fucking throat and individualism down your throat until you are so sick and tired of it that you come on this app, like I'm doing right now, and ranting about it. I just would love for a man to see me as the person that I really am, rather than what I can provide for him. Because I realize that's why a lot of women are in romantic relationships and partnerships with men, is that they have this currency that they can provide for men, this social status. And because I'm not skinny, I can't give that to them. So
Okay, just to be clear, most of these dudes are not with skinny women because it's social currency. They're just with these skinny broads because they just find them more attractive.
As they type.
Yeah, a lot of men are not going to overlook the fact that you're overweight. You can choose to do something about it, or you can choose to wait and be patient for somebody who will. Does it make your options slimmer?
Maybe.
Unintended. Yes. You can't look at other people who made the right choices in regards to their own body and their health and then be like, whoa, they're only being valued because they're skinny. No, they're being valued because they're choosing to do something that's probably more difficult than being obese.
The point that you was making about this app shoving down the throat that, self-love,
True.
and proning individuality, I think that, I gotta give her that. I'm like, yeah, it does. That app does that. And people be saying that to you and they're like, no, you good. You have to improve your no, and being in a couple feels good. Ask Lonely Love, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
When I'm home, he's there for me.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
So I gotta say you're right about that.
they don't take the time to see me as a real person and to get to know me as a real person.
Because they can't f*** your personality. And most people want a romantic partner, they want to f***. If they don't find you hot, they're not trying to find out what kind of shit you're writing up in your diary.
That's right.
They don't want to see.
But somehow, some way, Abba and Preach is they shame guys for that shit. They tell them to self-improve, right? Isn't that funny? How they try to be red pill without being red pill. Red pill dudes said this shit all the time, but they wanted to take Fresh and Fit as the top red pill guys, and they wanted to do everybody else's. Oh yeah, these guys are red pill. Mind you, these the guys who was talking all this shit about red pill.
how intellectually you can they don't give a fuck. They're not attracted to you.
That's their advertisement.
And you know what? I'm pretty confident that if you were really not attracted to some guy and he was making a move on you, you probably wouldn't give him the time of day either.
Which is fine. But same.
That's it.
Same.
If I were to lose 150 pounds, then they would actually get to see me as a real person, and they would get to know me as the person. But guess what? I'd be still the same fucking person.
One, you probably would be somewhat different even as a personality. But two, yeah. Absolutely.
That's how it works. Why when you go apply for a job and you go to the job interview, tidy up?
True.
Why?
Hey,
Just why whenever you have a job interview, you go in there and you're like, oh shit, no, I can't wear that. They're gonna think this, I can't wear this, I gotta put this shirt, I gotta put that. And then you sit and you're sitting straight, and when you give the handshake, you're like, if you be sloppy or you just wear regular clothes, if you wear your regular joggings or whatnot, you're still gonna be the same you're gonna be the same exact person. But why? You could be going in the job interview like that. I could be going in the job interview like that. No guarantees we're getting the job.
Sure.
Okay, no guarantee. Yo, what's up, partner? You good? I'm still the same dude, and I can give the same service, or I have the same attribute. I know how to work everything, but why? So it's the same thing, I guess, in the dating world. You're still gonna come at your best, and sometimes your base of what you have doesn't fit certain standard. I'm pretty sure that if I go in certain countries, I don't fit the standard. The people are gonna be like, yeah, I'm not gonna date you because my parents are not gonna approve or whatever, this and that and the third.
I'm still me. I wouldn't fucking change. Only my body would. But then automatically that gives them value. That gives them social currency. Even though I didn't change. In here I didn't change. Just my body did.
I just reject that. Like, changing your body is more than just changing your body. It's an act of self-care. It's about how you view yourself and your own wants and needs. Okay? And I'm not talking about somebody who's thick versus somebody who's skinny. I'm talking about people who are, like, severely obese. Like, when you...
That is that. But that's just how the world is. That's just, you gotta play the game.
Mind you, you got overweight women crying about the game that they created. But these fuckboys are telling you to go have sex with some of these women, right? Have sex with them anyway, right? Let me see. Is it still there? Okay, it's right there. It's still running. I got a couple little things to put on there. Let's continue.
Okay.
Nobody was ever going to give me a chance and see my beautiful soul of who I was as a person, and it's heartbreaking. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think what you said about people always talking about self-care on the app and, whatever, fuck the other gender. All that gender war stuff is mad corny to me. It's just like, we need each other. All this hostility that the genders seem to have towards each other,
yeah, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. Feminists started this shit 110 years ago. They been the gender war. They was throwing shots at us while men was dying over in World War II, in Korean War, and in Vietnam. They were making laws and taking advantage of pussy motherfuckers like you guys, and they was changing certain laws. And then guess what? Dudes came to a whole different world, and this country became more and more feminized. And guess what else happened? The government and the corporations started to become more in tune and more together. And by certain times when I was born, it was already perfectly in sync where the corporations ran the country more than the government.
I've lost my interest in the whole dynamic. But as far as the individual goes, whether you be a man or a woman, I hope everyone makes that effort to take care of themselves and to do the things that they can to maximize.
Okay, he's talking about the gender war. Okay, you said the gender war is bad, right? But you got a whole bunch of gender warring shit on your page. All of this is gender war shit. Most of it is gender war shit. So, let me show you how extremist women are nowadays in the sexual market. You're going to see stories of...
This is a newspaper, and this is Newsbreak, the nation's leading local news app.
I cannot imagine.
Year-old male student. An investigation launched last December after a student reported Haley.
So there's a rise in these females going after young boys. You know why? Young apples. You know why these teen boys are so high on the list of some of these women going after them? It's because it's easy to groom a kid that's 13 and 14 and horny, and you will make them dependent on women forever. So these women know the mess that they created in society. They created this mess. Not me, not you, not the incels, not the red pill. They did. But a lot of them are married, and they go after kids in order to have a boy they can control. They getting so bad that they're becoming teachers to get access to boys. And then a piece of shit men say it's okay. But if this was men doing this type of shit, they would it would be a whole war going on. But there are men out here that doing this shit in some places. Now, I didn't know, right? Man of Tomorrow alluded to that they're doing this shit in his hometown in Mississippi, where dudes are walking around with 13-year-olds out and about, which is fucking sick. But they do that shit. But then there's a lot of these women out here that doing this shit openly. And I told guys, that's the reason why I was talking about porn, because porn is always a backtrack to what women are doing and getting away with. In porn, there's a lot of male porn stars now that look like preteen boys. And a lot of these women are watching porn because guess what? Porn addiction is not geared towards women. It's geared towards men. And men are supposed to have so-called relationships so they can have sex. Men are supposed to not be the horn dogs. Women can. Right? Women can be the sexual deviants all they want. Right? Because nobody cares. Right? Some people want to benefit off it as long as women's sexual deviants. Why the fuck would I want to date a bum bitch who fucked a little apple from school? Do you really think that if I found out a girl that I was on a date in America, if I found out this girl was locked up for dating a young apple boy in her middle school, and she's probably 20 something years old or probably 30 something years old, you think that I'm gonna still have to deal with her? The fucked up game dudes might say, yeah, give her a chance. But I'm gonna tell you, fuck no. Just like if a woman found out a guy did some shit like that, they wouldn't fuck with him, even if he was falsely accused.
Carmack. According to reports, other students even served as lookouts while the two would have sex. Also, his father allegedly knew about the relationship and did absolutely nothing about it. How could this happen? Joining us to talk about it, parent Vanessa Diaz and high school educator Nicole Richeroin. Glad to have you all here on The Factor Uncensored. Now, here's what my question is. Is this always a case where people, community, those on social media care a little bit less if it's a boy because they think they can handle it?
I don't think they care a little bit less because a child is a child, whether it's a boy or a girl.
I think they do, historically.
Okay.
No. Sorry, think about it, Nicole.
Okay.
You know, I mean, if it's a girl, all hell will break loose.
True.
But if it's a male, it's like, well, I mean,
that masculine thing, and there's that blame game that goes into play. So
it's not a masculine thing, and this is why I said we have to rework the whole entire. We have to rework all facets of America, from the mental health industry, from the teaching industry, all of it need to be reworked, and newer people with morals need to be in these places. Because, well, for some reason, you keep talking about extremists as being red pill, but you know how many extremists these motherfuckers are in every facet of our lives. They are extremists to the social level. They don't have to be overall violent, but they are extremists because they're putting all
Battery level is 60%.
they putting all of their bullshit in everything they do to try to poison anybody they can.
I do see society seen in that aspect, but as a mother myself, I'm like, oh no, hell to the no.
For you, it's different.
Absolutely, it's different, especially because I work with kids, and I also have a 16-year-old son at home myself, and so I wish, oh Lord, no.
I wish they would.
I wish they would. I wish he would.
Vanessa, your thoughts on this?
I mean, obviously, we can all agree that if
And that's the thing, and this is why I don't want to have kids. Because you really think, as a father, you think that I want my son to be dating an older woman if he's underage. What I know that can potentially do, because niggas like a Mr. Fantastic, Ramil Amir, Tommy Sotomayor, a lot of these niggas started so early in sex, they can't give this shit up. A lot of these dudes started sex early, and they should have never done that, because now they didn't develop themselves to the point where they want to leave these motherfuckers alone. They have to stick their shit in something in order to feel good about themselves or whatever. It's sad out here that these women imprinted on these fucking kids, and these guys never grew up. They got men bodies but boy mentalities.
that boy had been a girl and that teacher had been a male, this conversation would have been different. The whole thing would have been different. I have a daughter and she's 8. I cannot imagine someone older sexualizing, predatorizing my child. And obviously, she's 26. At 26, you know what is right, you know what's wrong, you know the law. She knew what she was doing.
That's true, but I also feel too, as a female, a lot of times females, or even now, it just goes to the objectification that women have on social media. You see that way more than you do a male also. So we always have more spotlight shined on us. Look at the story you just had. It was these young girls that were pole dancing, and then now here you are having this young man, but females are overly criticized and overly sexualized on social media all the time, and it's not as heavy on the voice.
And you think that is a societal problem? How do we bring balance to the issue where if it is a young male, if it is a young female, if it's a male abuser, it's a female abuser, we bring equal amount of attention to both cases, and also justice to both cases on the same level?
Well, I think first and foremost, we have to keep in mind morals. We don't look at morals like the way we used to anymore. Everything is torn apart. Everyone, of course, has their rights. They want to be seen. They want to stand up for what they want to do. If they want to walk in the halls naked, which I see every day, they do it because that's exactly what they want to do for them. But the moral aspect of it, parents need to keep parenting. The disciplinarians need to be parenting. They need to do their job, and everyone has to play their part and hold each other accountable and set a different standard. And until we see that, we're going to see things continue to happen.
Do you foresee that equality, Vanessa, when it comes to boys and girls and how they're treated, as well as abusers and victimization?
Yes, I mean, as a woman, I've been double standard my whole life. You know, like things that my brother was allowed to do, but I wasn't because I was a girl. Like, oh, you couldn't wear that, but he could wear that. So it's just like certain things, like as a woman, you're going to be double standard. Every woman has been double standard their entire life.
Schools are supposed to be safe places where children are not meeting predators.
And this is the funny thing about this, right? And this is going to be the last wave of it. A lot of these dudes are sexually compromised to the point where they will sacrifice generations of men in order to keep their sexual rank. A lot of dudes are willing to lie, cheat, steal, kill just to keep themselves flush with pussy. And then you got guys like myself or everybody else who say, I don't want to compromise myself in this environment. I want to do it in an environment where it's honest, where my actions don't really affect other people. I don't want to go with some of these fucked up people because they're fucking up the environment. And I don't want to reward these people fucking up the environment because I'm not fucking up the environment. But they are.
Schools are supposed to be safe places where children are not meeting predators, and unfortunately I think that is one of the first places they meet predators.
In another case we've seen far too often, a Missouri high school math teacher is put behind bars on allegations she had sex with a 16-year-old student. Texas authorities arrested 26-year-old Haley Clifton Carmack on January 5th for charges of statutory rape, endangering the welfare of a child, sexual contact with a student, and fourth-degree child molestation. According to police, she was suspected of fleeing the state of Missouri after the allegations and was picked up in Garden Ridge, Texas, about 30 minutes north of San Antonio and nearly 12 hours away from where she lived in Lakeway, Missouri. Police in Missouri say they were alerted to Haley's alleged behavior in early December after a student witness came forward and reported the relationship to their school's resource officer.
Where is the rest of the community? Where is the principal? Where are the other teachers? This particular incident, it sounds like other students were the quote-unquote lookout for this, and I'm going to use the term couple loosely. This is something I see very often in my practice, and I think that it makes people wonder about the bigger community. And so I think we've all heard the term that it takes a village to raise a child. That doesn't stop just because a child goes to school.
I spoke with civil litigation attorney Hillary Nappy, who leads her firm's victims' rights practice and has litigated hundreds of cases on behalf of survivors of sexual abuse. She tells me the female teacher-to-student relationship cases are happening far too often, and it's time for schools across the nation to wake up to the abuse that could be happening right under their nose.
It's too often. You already let it go already. It's been happening for decades. The biggest case, I forgot what it was. It was a big case of student-teacher stuff. And she went to jail for like 10 years. Came back out and dated the same student. Now they broke up. Right? This is the thing. When you tell men that their manhood is when you tell men that their manhood is dependent on having sex with any woman, this is what you get. And when you let women do whatever they fucking want and you act like somehow, some way, all you got to do is ignore them, then it starts spreading. The mindset starts spreading. This is the reason China has a whole hold on their citizens. This is the reason why cultures exist. But the fact is, there is no consequences for these actions. Now, all of these people want to blame the red pill and this and that. But these motherfuckers are actually high-level extremists because they do what the fuck they want and they have nothing. Most of these women going to get a slap on the wrist and probably 2 years in prison and then get back out. And of course, they should be on the register list. I can go right now on a pedo register list and try to type in all the women and you don't see no women on there. Trust me, I went on those lists. I seen one dude that I know why he's on that list because he had sex with a girl. He was like 30-something years old, having sex with a 13-year-old. I think 13, she was 12 or 13 at the time. And every drug dealer was basically pounding that girl. I noticed her, and there's another girl who's ugly and fat now. Both of the girls who had sex when they was young are now fat and overweight. But when they was younger, because they was our age, my age, so I can say stuff about her. She looked good because she was our age. We was trying to go after her. But the older man was taking shots at her, and we was watching this shit. Right? And both of them are now unattractive. What happens when the worst thing happens is when you introduce adult things to children. And then they try to grow up based off them being treated like an adult at an early age. And then they don't develop their mind and don't learn new things. So they start going around thinking that whatever worked when they was a kid is going to work now as an adult. And it fails them all the time. And what these women are doing to these boys is introducing them sex and thinking that sex is easy with women. And then introducing sex to them so they can get them hooked on vagina. And then eventually when the vagina runs dry, these guys either going to go try to take it from somebody or go crazy and just take anything they can in order to keep vagina in their life.
I think that there is a stigma that gets placed on young men when they were sexually abused by men. And I don't think when a female is the abuser, that same stigma often applies for young boys. And I think that it is a cultural.
It's okay to not be okay. In fact, I would say most people aren't okay. Most people carry around emotional.
That same stigma often applies for young boys. And I think that it is a cultural thing that, you know, we as a society, we have to get over it. We have to start educating our parents and educating our children that, you know, this is not a quote unquote fantasy that a boy is living out just because he is having a sexual relationship with an older woman. You know, schools are supposed to be safe places where children are not meeting predators. And unfortunately, I think that is one of the first places they meet predators. And we hear this too often across the country. So, you know, this one school in Missouri, certainly not an outlier.
And court documents reveal more.
Mind you, nobody's going to call these women creepy and weird because they're attractive. And the women decided they want to get away with this. You should see how many of these women are actually going to these schools having sex with young boys. And these guys act like that these women are not there. A lot of these women are licking toilets. A lot of these women are getting shitted on. A lot of these women are doing all types of shit, and they got the nerve to be out here saying shit, right? So we're supposed to sleep with a bunch of women who sleeps with boys, or have HIV, or have sex with thugs. It's bad enough they having sex with thugs, but nobody's going to tell them how wrong they are doing that. These are women who they shouldn't have no problem dating men their own age, but they want feminism. The extreme feminism told them that they have to have 100% control over a guy, emotionally, mentally, financially, and everything. So what they can go to, they can only go to people that are younger than them. They're making money, they got what they want sexually, and they can control a boy's mind and make some kind of weird behind Frankenstein and grow him up to be what she want him to be. And if it doesn't work out, she could dump him and go after more kids. That's what these extreme feminist extremists really want.
More disturbing details. According to officials, the relationship occurred from November 1st of 2023 to around December 23rd. Investigators say the student witness learned of the relationship between Haley and the 16-year-old boy after they were shown photographs of scratches on the teen's back that he allegedly received while having sex with her in the witness's driveway. The student also told police they overheard a phone conversation between Haley and the victim, where the victim told Haley it was his birthday and she replied, quote, "I'm out of state, but I can send you money, baby." The student witness told police Haley was too friendly with her students and at times dressed inappropriately, such as wearing tighter low-cut shirts to show off, quote, her headlights and tight leggings to, quote, show off her camel toe. The 16-year-old victim allegedly told the student witness that he was the reason Haley's divorce from her husband was pushed through, and that Haley wanted a divorce due to her husband only wanting to, quote, do butt stuff. Police also learned Haley had openly discussed her personal life with her class, including details that she had gotten in trouble with the school for being too close with students, which was later verified by the district superintendent. Investigators say on December 8th, they made contact with Haley to seize her phone through a search warrant, and she handed over the device with no issues, but police noted she did not have the normal behavior of someone facing the same accusations. Police say Haley denied having any kind of relationship with any student outside of school, denied having contact with the victim outside of school, and denied all allegations. However, according to investigators, Haley's text messages beg to differ. And the messages recovered from her phone show a conversation between Haley and the victim discussing their relationship. On December 23rd, the Sheriff's Department received an anonymous tip that Haley was about to bolt and leave town to go to Texas, but before she left, planned to meet with a 16-year-old boy. After Haley's arrest in Texas, the school district where she worked released a statement reading in part, quote, "We are aware of criminal charges filed against an employee for alleged misconduct. We understand that charges are not the same as conviction, and the employee is to be considered innocent until proven guilty. We must stress that alleged misconduct is inexcusable and does not meet the professional standards of district employees. An investigation is ongoing. The employee has not been in the district since December 8th, and we do not anticipate her return," end quote. But in another twist and turn in the case,
your parent is supposed to be the person who is your front line in defense of protecting you, not feeding you up to a predator.
Investigators say they spoke with another witness who alerted them the teen's father was completely aware of the sexual relationship and that Haley had been over to their home.
And here we go, the creepy weirdo guy who living out his fantasies through his own son. This is what happens when you're a compromised man who would do anything for sex. So he might think that he will hook up with her hot friend and there'll be a son and father duo fucking women based off his son. Dudes like this are sick and pieces of shit, and they give men a bad name of fathers.
Before she fled from Missouri to go to Texas. On January 4th, police arrested the teen's father on a charge of endangering the welfare of a child. According to court documents, the father revealed to the second witness more shocking information, that Haley and the teen used students as lookouts while they were having sex during school. This unnamed witness also told police they saw the father on the phone with Haley as Haley asked what was told to detectives. When the witness told the father they planned to go forward to police, he responded by saying they're going to do it behind my back, so I may as well let it happen. And also said he would lie for his son if he had to. For Nappy, she believes the charge against the teen's father was appropriate.
From a criminal perspective, endangering the welfare of a child is a crime, and it would be no different if, someone was beating his child and he allowed that to happen.
In the past few months, Law and Crime has reported on several cases involving female teachers having sexual relationships with their underage students. In Louisiana, Tatum Hatch allegedly sent a 15-year-old boy nude photos of herself and touched him inappropriately in her car with her young child present, even telling the 15-year-old she was worried she wouldn't be the one to take his virginity. Then in Texas, Adriana Ruyan, a middle school teacher in Laredo, was accused of having sex with her 13-year-old student and texted the young boy she might be pregnant with his child. In Idaho, Jessica Lawson, a high school teacher, was charged with having sex with her teenage student after police were alerted to a person finding a teenager driving Lawson's car with Lawson in the back seat because she was too drunk to drive. All denied the accusations and allegations made against them. But are we seeing a rise of these cases, or have they always been around, but now more people are reporting them?
I think it's the latter. I think that when you look at child sexual abuse and the statistics, those numbers were always there historically, right? And male on male, female on male, male on female. I think that we are a different society, and we should be commended for how much we are now talking about this issue. One of the reasons that so many people have trouble with coming forward and disclosing their sexual abuse is the fear of, how they'll be perceived and the stigma that goes with that abuse. And so I think with the conversation happening now, and, Me Too was really the catalyst, in my opinion, to start this as a society, you're going to see more and more of this, and more people are going glamorous and cool, and the thing to at the same way.
I'm treating this like a murder case. Some questions just don't have answers.
Of overrating the teacher before something on their ability to focus, their ability to work, to learn, to have other relationships, depression, anxiety, sometimes post-traumatic stress, all get roped into this. And of course, a myriad of others.
Known as UISD.
this explicit of a relationship on paper described between a child and an adult.
Law and Crime spoke with KGNS news anchor and investigative reporter Brenda Camacho, whose station first broke the story. She says the arrest affidavit alleges shocking details, including Ruyan had sexual intercourse and sexual contact with the boy on a dozen occasions, even during school hours.
The text messages that were shown were from August to November, which is kind of when the case started to unfold. Just very detailed content that we were ourselves, our news organization, didn't feel comfortable airing to the public just from how detailed and explicit they were.
According to the UISD website, Ruyan was a teacher as well as 7th grade basketball and track coach at Antonio Gonzalez Middle School, which is a part of the United Independent School District known as UISD, the largest school district in Laredo. The school district reportedly was very tight-lipped on the investigation, never naming Ruyan.
And this is why I said before about how the mindset is the thing. It's not. It's the mindset. Men are leaving the country because of the mindset, but also men are leaving the country because of basically what is allowed, what women are allowed to do in certain countries. If a guy goes overseas and run into the same chick that he said he don't want in America, it's different end results because he doesn't have, you're not going to have the same results as dealing with somebody overseas, depending on what country you go to, right? If you deal with a Thai Keisha, the Thai Keisha still is going to give you what you want. The difference is she understands and she's not trying to take more from you. She wants you to understand the system and then you're going. Don't do anything more above that bullshit that you're supposed to be doing. That's it. Now, as far as the Keisha over here, she will have a goon. She will try to get you out of your money by not trying to have sex. She will try to literally play around with the fact that she's trying to take time and she's trying to milk more money out of you and everything else. And you got to play so many games and this and this and that. And by the time you want to get anything or you do get anything, guess what? You're already tired. You don't feel like it no more. And you wasted a whole bunch of money and time talking to her. It's a totally different thing. So-called certain women overseas with the so-called American mindset, that environment doesn't allow them to get away with everything. Because eventually when American guys go back to where they go and it's not a hot spot, they're going to have to face the men in those countries. And those men's going to fix their mindset. Over here, the women are running wild to the point where they disrespect every man they meet. And they feel like they can do anything and say everything they want. As far as killing guys, accusing guys, and walking around with their head up high after they accuse a guy. And then also, this is what happened when you promote degradation of women in this country. This is the end result right here. Letting them do and say whatever they want. Now they're going after kids. At high numbers.
The teacher involved in the crime.
They sent a press release out to the media, basically referring to a case in which an employee of theirs was arrested. In that statement, they explained that they had done an investigation, that their police department performed the investigation, and that the employee was let go over the course of.
At Domino's, order carryout online or by phone and get any one-topping pizza for $7.99 each.
Did you know that when you use the credit card app, you can find a personal loan that works for you, and they'll show you your approval
over the course of them looking into it. So we kind of just went based off of that. We reached out to the district to ask for the name of the employee because we had not received any police reports thus far mentioning any sort of district employee being arrested.
Investigator responded to the middle school after the 13-year-old boy's parents reported the allegation. The parents reportedly stated to investigators they became suspicious when the boy spent more than $130 at a local Academy sporting goods store.
It was the parents of that teenager who kind of spearheaded this whole case transaction. Times based off of the way it was letter and the want to get pregnant. According to the text messages, though, or according to the arrest affidavit, they assume that the relationship began in May, but it's possible it could have been longer. But what we do know is that in November, it is what is alleged in those letters. And there was also a mention of a 9-month relationship in that specific letter and the want to get pregnant.
So you have an older woman trying to lock a young boy down to be a young father, but somehow, some way, the dating scene in America is okay, right?
Into the text messages, though, or the need to or the want to hurt himself because of his expression of self-infliction or wanting to impose self-infliction. He was taken to the hospital, and from that point on, it was mentioned that he was taken to a mental health facility.
Police say Ruyan continued to make calls to the teen's phone to
the stemming of this investigation.
The discovery of the text messages by his family even prompted the young teen to run away from his home. His stepfather reportedly contacted the number on his phone listed as Adriana, and at some point during their conversation, she admitted to being the boy's teacher and even requested to go to their home to help assist his parents in finding the boy, who was eventually found physically safe.
Still during that time, Miss Ruyan continued to call, wanting to stop by the house and explain herself. Consistently kept saying that she was admitting to doing wrong, but it was mentioned in there that she admitted to the father that there was no sexual relationship, according to the affidavit.
When the allegations were made public, it's been reported that the teen became emotionally distraught and devastated. He since received professional medical care to cope with this overwhelming situation.
He did express...
And this is what happens. A lot of... the funny thing is, nobody cares about the boys. When you introduce something to boys too early, they can't develop certain social skills. A lot of these fucking idiots who talking about they have high social skills and all this other shit, no. Because the fact is, when you introduce sex and you make it easy, you're telling a boy that anybody who's interested in you, you should accept. Also, it means that you should pursue sex no matter what, without any type of rules. This is what creates. This is the kind of shit creates the rapists in the country. Women taking advantage of young men, and then these guys will be 50, 60, 70 years old still wanting some sex. Because in their head, the shit was imprinted on them how good this shit is. And how they can't let it go. None of these guys can go years without anything. Right? Because they can't control it. It's been imprinted on them. Things that people... Let me give you an example. Things that people did when they were young, it's imprinted on them. And it takes them a long time to get rid of that shit. I love video games. Video games, anime, pro wrestling has been a part of my life ever since I was 1 digit. Sports been a part of my life for a very long time, but I grew out of that shit. Some things you grow out of, some things you don't. If you got the wrong things that you connect onto, you're going to use that as your go-to. And a lot of these girls get introduced sexually when they're young, and they think that sex is the only way they get out. The only way they can get out of anything. Same thing with boys. If sex is introduced to them, they think that sex is their sex is a blanket for them. Because once they get sex, they feel better.
The need to or the want and
In a recorded conversation with the teen's parents, Rihanna admitted she had done something wrong, stating to them, "I know I messed up. I'm an adult and should have known better."
And aside from her saying that she knows she's done wrong, she also said that she's seen instances like this happen and she never thought it would happen to her.
Over the course of this year alone, Law and Crime has reported on more than a dozen cases involving teachers having sexual relationships with their young students. In Tennessee, former fourth grade teacher Alyssa McCommon was arrested twice, accused of having sex with a now 15-year-old. She's reportedly pregnant with his child. McCommon is charged with rape of a child and illegal contact with a victim. In Las Vegas, former teacher Caitlin Glover was arrested for lewdness with a child after she allegedly engaged in a sexual relationship with the student for 4 years. The victim told police Glover would send them explicit messages and perform sex acts. And in Missouri, a teacher who used to be a special education teacher is accused of sending a 16-year-old student nude photos of herself on Snapchat. The victim told police Ricky Lynn Laughlin also tried to pressure him into having sex. All suspects here say they're not guilty. But is this a common problem in Laredo, Texas? Camacho explains not necessarily.
I can't say that as far as cases that are out in the public eye, you don't see these cases as often here in town. I honestly can't even remember the last time we had a case like this much in the spotlight anytime soon, probably more than a.
This tells you a lot about these women. You have a lot of single, so-called lonely men, and they would rather go after boys. And mind you, don't you ask yourself about men, guys like myself, or so-called incels and red pill guys who can't get women? Why haven't you seen the same thing for men? An increase of guys going after school kids or school at young apples, like high school girls and middle school girls. Why don't you see that? Or why don't you see them going after disfigured women? Since disfigured women shouldn't have no standards because they disfigured. They'll take anything. Or women with blind women. Or women who have no legs. Why don't you see men going after these type of women to just have sex and do all this? Because we have morals. And we have rules and regulations that we wouldn't want to do. We had never crossed those lines. Unlike the nasty piece of shit dudes over here who condone doing all this shit and will still sleep with women who fuck with these young apples from middle school and even kindergarten and shit. They're gonna go lower than that if they don't stop this. It's gonna be an epidemic. This is why I don't want to have kids, male or female.
Year ago, if I could pinpoint a time.
But she later bailed out after a $175,000 bond was posted on her behalf. On the same day of Rihanna's arrest, the school district where she worked released a statement seemingly in reference to her arrest, although they don't identify her in the statement. UISD said the former employee was placed on leave once they were made aware of the allegations and that the employee no longer works for the district. As for the boy involved in the case at this time, it's unclear if the teen is back in school or still seeking.
So that's just one example that's another example of no one talks about the women extremists in society.